When you are creating a project timeline, very often you want to make sure it looks just right. And with Swiftlight, this is generally very easy to do. This short video is going to give you a few formatting tips to help you on your way. When you first open Swiftlight, the default view in the timeline has the header section for objectives and so on, a section for key meetings and milestones, and 6 rows for activity groups. One of the questions we often get asked is this the only way to lay out the timeline? And the answer is no. With Swiftlight, you get a lot of flexibility. Working with an example will show you some of what you can do. First, you can close up the header section at the top of the timeline simply by picking up the divider and dragging it up to the top. Secondly, we can see more than just the main activities in the lower section of the timeline. This shortcut shows you the display options. We'll just select milestones to illustrate what it does. We're now seeing the activities with their associated milestones, which is a useful level of detail and a display option which many people really like. The third thing I want to show you is how to remove the sections for key meetings and key milestones in the middle of the page. Go to the Format dialog, select the Key Meetings and Milestones tab, and then deselect the checkboxes and hit Enter. And now the timeline is just about activities. Fourthly, adding in rows for activities is easy. Either use the right-click menu to add in rows one by one, or use the main Format dialog to add lots of rows at once. What we'll now see is that we have lots of new rows and also that the timeline has spread out onto 2 pages. One of the key things that determines how many rows you get on one page is the minimum row height, and this is something you can control in the Format dialog. If I reduce the minimum row height, I get more thinner rows per page, and now I'm back on one page. And if I increase it, I get fewer wider rows per page. The final thing I want to show you is how to control the size of meetings and milestones and font size. If you look at this simplified example, you'll see that the milestone text is over 2 lines and is truncated, so we can't see the full text. The text in the activity group arrow is also truncated. This is due to some sizing limits, but you've got some control over these through the Format dialog. If I go to the Meetings and Milestones Format tab and increase the width and height of milestones, this is going to create more space for text. And if we then go to the Fonts tab and also reduce the minimum font for text in activity groups, when we go back to the timeline, we see that the milestone text is now over 3 rows and it's wider so that all the text is getting displayed. We also see all the text in the activity group arrow. As I hope these examples show, Swiftlight's timeline is very flexible. You have a number of display options, you can fine-tune formats and fonts, and the overall graphical display looks great. So, if you're not already using Swiftlight, why not give it a try? Thanks for your time, and have a great day.